Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so welcome to my presentation. My name is Georgina Montserrat Benumea. I'm a PhD student at IMAS from the National Autonomous University of Mexico. And I am currently collaborating with Dr. Jesus Mario Siqueiros, Dr. Carlos Gershenson, Dr. Gabriel Ramos Fernandez, and Dr. Katia Rodriguez Vasquez. The title of my presentation for the 2024 ERA workshop is the following: Appreciation and Devaluation of Agents' Values in Dyadic Social Interaction, a Cognition Investigation on Affective Mutual Understanding. And well, this is part of my PhD research work, and I'm going to briefly introduce it. We will have an introduction, what is our proposal, and some of the references in the contents. So, this research work has been recently presented at the conference Dimensions of Radical Embodiment at the University of Murcia, Spain, on last month, right? And this is the introduction. Well, according to Dr. Hanne de Jager, in the session 1 of the core induction programming in semester 4, that was during this spring, regarding participatory sense making, she says that we are all intersubjective experts, or we all have intersubjective expertise by virtue of being humans, right? Now, this refers that the case that we live together, we do things together, we transform and do and make anything in social relationships, and we all are doing things every time in this collective dimension, right? But Dr. Hanne de Jager says that, and yet this is very difficult, sometimes extremely difficult, right? In the sense that we can say that achieving mutual understanding among humans is often quite challenging and occasionally extremely difficult to achieve, right? And why is that the case? Well, I would say that this could be the case of a poor understanding of social interaction and affectivity, right? Or what Dr. Tom Froese says or calls as affective being with others, right? A poor understanding of affective being with others. And on the one hand, then we have the case of social interaction, right? From a Fourier cognition perspective, there has been an increasingly accepted non-representational and non-neuroreductionist proposal, namely social interaction in itself can constitute at least partially social cognition, right? And in order to demonstrate or support this claim, some minimal models have been developed as computational proof of concept, which are also known as embodied dyadic interaction models. And these are minimal agent-based models in which agents are evolved and or tested in these following scenarios, right? Social interaction, social isolation, and ghost condition, and a comparison of the results is performed in terms of neural complexity, as is the case of neural entropy, and in terms of behavioral complexity, as is the case of distance entropy, right? Now, by using these embodied dyadic interaction models, it has been demonstrated that during mutual social interaction, two embodied agents can become integrated into a larger dynamically extended system, right? And you can see here in this QR code, you can find a minimal model that I recently worked with Dr. Tom Froese and other colleagues. That is a shrunken social brains, a minimal model of the role of social interaction in neural complexity, right? That supports also this work. And on the other hand, we have the case of affectivity, right? Now, from a Fourier cognition perspective, affectivity refers to these three main points, right? The mind as embodied is intrinsically or constitutively affective. That is, you cannot take affectivity away from it and still have a mind, according to the enactivist researcher called Giovanna Colombetti, right? Now, in the second point, we have that affectivity refers broadly to a lack of indifference and rather a sensibility or interest for one's existence, right? And also, for the case of sense making that is conceived as the mark of cognition, it is also affective, which entails that even the simplest living systems have a capacity to be sensitive to what matters to them, right? Now, in brief terms, we can extract the essence of this work from an enactive perspective, and we can extract this key notion, right? The key notion that affectivity is value sensitivity, and this is a key notion that we are going to take for our proposal, right? Affectivity as value sensitivity, right? In order to study this case of affective being with others, no? Right? We are talking about value sensitivity, right? Now, that is why we are also talking about values, right? A value is a relational phenomenon that it is actually not conceived in isolation, but it is a collective task, such that we can have here the case, for example, of agent A and agent B. And we can have that agent A has an agent is Umwelt, that is, the Umwelt is the world of meanings or the world of significances, right? That is what matters the most to that agent, right? And we can also have the case, for example, for the case of agent B, the agent B's Umwelt, right? But the case is that these values are not obtained in isolation, but during shared histories of social interactions, and also through a process that we may call historical interaffective attunement, right? And and regarding these values, we can also conceive them within our subjective, right? Our subjective aspectivity, as Dr. Thomas Fuchs called it, or as our subjectivity, right? What lives in our lived body, right? And from this side, these values live in our subjectivity, and this is how Dr. Tom Froese proposes what is called eruption theory, a novel conceptualization of the inactive account of motivated activity. And briefly, this eruption theory refers to the subjective doings as such can make a difference to our bodily activity in terms of eruptions. That eruptions are physical events that are physically underdetermined, right? Such that this subjectivity, these values can actually have or make a difference in the objectivity, right? This nature, this living body, right? And we can also conceive them, as Dr. Tenfroes mentioned, eruption as a cross-border effect of mind-matter interaction, right? And as we can see here in this diagram. Now, if we have this background, we can go then to our proposal. What is our proposal then in order to understand or in order to achieve this challenge of affective human mutual understanding, right? Well, our proposal then is to conceive a new understanding of participatory sense making. And as we mentioned before, a cross-border effect is what it is an effect between mind-matter interaction. And we are proposing here that it is not only eruption, but it is also affectivity or this value sensitivity, that it is also as well a cross-border effect. And in principle, these cross-border effects, as we can extend to the other or to the other agents, right, as dynamically extended systems, these cross-border effects in principle could be shared, right? And there is also a third element in this participatory sense making or these social relationships that will make a real difference. And that element is that of appreciation and devaluation of the agent's values, right? As we can see in the yellow rectangle, we can see here that an appreciation or a devaluation may increase, right, in a positive or a negative way, this value sensitivity of the whole current situation. And that is it. By having these elements on the cross-border effects, we could have the emergence of positive or negative perturbation patterns, as we can see in the middle, in the rectangle in the middle, right? The purple one. We can see here the positive and negative perturbation pattern that could emerge from these cross-border effects. And importantly, these positive or negative perturbation patterns can be sensed and extended to other agents, right? This is the difference. It is not inside or within an isolated agent, but it is these perturbations lives in this across agents, right? And this is how we conceive participatory sense-making implies perturbation generation, right? And this perturbation, these positive or negative perturbation patterns will demand to be bodily exhibited, right? That is, we can express bodily as by using the terms by Dr. Thomas Fuchs as impression or as an expression, right? And this is how we go from a eruption to behavior, right? From the microscopic to the macroscopic scale. And this microscopic scale is expressed as behavior and as appreciation of devaluation impression, that is, or could be the case of those directed towards own's own Umwelt, or appreciation devaluation expression, those that are directed toward others' Umwelt, as we can see in these images, in the third rectangle, right? In the blue one. Now, we have here this embodied interaffectivity cycle that presented Dr. Thomas Fuchs in dyadic social interaction, as we can see in the first diagram. And, well, in this first diagram, we can see this interbodily resonance as expressions, as cycles of expressions and impressions between both agents, and a corresponding interbodily resonance. Right? Now we can see here that in these cycles, we can have appreciation or devaluation, right? But the thing is, what we can do then? We can have the special case of a shared appreciation or shared devaluation in the case of genuine intersubjectivity, right? We can see here the spiral of participatory sense-making, also proposed by Dr. Thomas Fuchs, and which here are redrawn and modified a little bit. We can see in the first one, we can see that we have agent A and agent B, that is a dyadic social interaction in pairs of agents. And we can see that at the beginning, there could be different perspectives, but as this spiral of participatory sense-making goes through, we can reach what it is called as shared understanding, and this may imply a shared appreciation, and this is the key, right? A shared appreciation that is not only from one side but from both sides, right? And it might be the case that we can have also a breakdown of shared understanding as a shared, and also would imply a shared devaluation, right?
Georgina?
And
Georgina,
yes.
I'm sorry
Yes.
to interrupt you, but do you have like more slides, or is it like pretty much?
Yeah, it's almost finishing. Yes.
Yeah. So if you can do it in 1 minute, yeah, this would be fantastic.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Well, yes, we have here shared appreciation and shared devaluation. And the most important thing is that we can have here the case of a weak perturbation pattern, right? A pattern that does not come in isolated agents, but in agents that are in interaction, right? Now, the take-home message that are the keys to effectively understand each other, according to this proposal, then, is to effectively understand each other. Our primary task is to mutually recognize, genuinely appreciate, or at least avoid devaluing each other's values, because appreciations can enhance well-being, while devaluations can significantly harm it, right? If devaluation occurs, the involved agents should discuss it promptly to reach shared understanding, yeah, which may entail shared appreciation and correspondingly this shared perturbation pattern, right? And also, continuous mutual appreciation may lead to the emergence of genuine care for each other's well-being, fostering mutual support and understanding. And on the other hand, continuous mutual devaluations may lead to the emergence of genuine indifference for each other's well-being, fostering an atmosphere of detachment, right? So these are the implications of this proposal. And well, these are some of the references of this work. These are my contact emails, and that's all. Thank you very much.